Hello everyone, this is Teacher Jenny. I hope you're in good condition while watching my video. Today I'm going to be sharing the sample answer that I have made for this topic. This is an interesting discussion you had with your friend. These are the bullet points, what the discussion was about, what opinions you and your friend had, why you think that discussion was interesting, and explain how you felt about it. If you are planning to take the exam for the second quarter of the year 2022, May, June, July to August, expect that this topic will come out. So it's a lot better that you're prepared for this. So the bullet points here, there is no rule in IELTS that you have to answer these bullet points in order, okay? Don't worry about them. These are just guide for you to speak continuously. So let us begin. Read along with me. Do some shadowing. I'd like to talk about a memorable and interesting discussion that I had with my friend. I remember it because more than a couple of years ago, my friend told me that he wanted to go on a trip by himself for a year, but he was worried about his budget. I told him that traveling for a year could cost an arm and a leg, but he still went on with his plan and traveled around the world. To be honest, I tried to discourage him a bit, but because I was afraid that he might struggle financially. Although we had different opinions when it comes to the country that we want to travel to, I still think that the discussion was interesting. He went to so many places and he shared some travel stories, especially about his African trip. It made me interested because he was so excited while recalling his vacation in Africa. I think that conversation was amazing, and let me tell you why. First off, it's difficult to travel on a small budget. But my friend made it, and he told me that traveling can be a pain in the neck. That's why he told me that I need to have enough savings, and I don't really need to go to fancy places just to enjoy my trip. In addition, that discussion inspired me to travel by myself. I have itchy feet, and traveling around the world has always been my dream. Last but not least, that conversation encouraged me to explore cities that are not popular among tourists. In short, it made me adventurous and confident in myself. Okay, now if your target is 7 and above on IELTS speaking, remember that you have to use idioms. Why? Technically speaking, they're required by IELTS. Whether you like idioms or not, you have to use them. Why? Because it can boost your score to 7 and above. Now here, the second sentence. I remember it because more than a couple of years ago. Even if it did not happen more than 2 years ago, I recommend you use this. Why? You just want to get a good score on vocabulary. So this is a good expression, right? Commonly, people would say 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, 2 months ago, 2 weeks ago. So I recommend you use this instead. A couple of weeks ago, a couple of years ago. Alright? Now this is an idiomatic expression. This is an idiom. What does it mean? This idiom means very expensive. Okay? Example, my bags cost an arm and a leg because I bought them in Paris. So instead of saying my bags are very expensive, you would rather say this. Okay? And then you have to use a wide range of connectives. And although, however, you try to use connectives, you also use discourse markers. If you review the IELTS band descriptors, discourse markers are necessary. What are they? Firstly, secondly, finally. But I don't want to use firstly because it's too common, so I would rather use first off. Native speakers use first off. This is an idiom, pain in the neck, which means very easy. The meaning is very difficult. Example, I don't want to travel with her because she's a pain in the neck. My manager is a pain in the neck. So it just simply means difficult. This is used to describe people, situations, okay, or like movies. It just simply means difficult. So please use this because this is an idiom, alright? Now this is another idiom, itchy feet. It means the intense desire to travel. Do you have an itchy feet? Okay, so it means, do you always want to travel? Alright? Instead of saying finally, you use last but not least. Alright? Let's continue with part 3. When do children normally form their own views? As far as I know, kids normally have their own views during their primary school years. I guess during that time they are already aware of their surroundings. They know their needs and wants and they can express their opinions. I remember when I was in elementary school, I really loved some celebrities, but I also hated some of them. Make your answer personal by talking about yourself. Okay? In part 3, you have to give at least 4 sentences. Don't give 1 or 2 sentences only. It is a no-no. You will definitely get like 6 and below. Okay? Let's continue. Do children have strong opinions? I guess it depends on the children's personalities. Some kids have strong opinions because they are confident and they know what they want. Maybe their parents raised them that way. On the other hand, some kids can't decide immediately because they don't have strong opinions. I guess it's probably because they're too dependent on their parents. So this is a connective. Please use them. Okay? Instead of saying probably, you try to drop some words. Sound like a native speaker. You say probably. Next question. Should parents request their kids to obey them? Well, I think it depends on the situation. If it's dangerous for children, parents should really tell their kids to obey them. For instance, they should remind their kids not to use sharp objects because it can cause some accidents. However, requesting them to obey everything can be harmful because it can limit their imagination or creativity. Sometimes it's good to allow them to be independent. Personally, I recommend to my students that they use 2 different ideas. Alright? Next question. In what industries do you think communication is a necessary skill? In my opinion, communication skills are necessary for the education sector. Teachers should have excellent communication skills so that they can teach their students effectively. Also, people who work in the business industry should have a great ability to communicate because they need to talk to a lot of people, including their clients or investors. Remember, the question here is in what industries. It's not asking you in what job, or what job I mean. Okay? So analyze the questions very well. Give a correct answer. Don't give an off-topic answer. Otherwise, the examiner will think that your comprehension is poor. You can't really understand English. Okay? So that would be all for today. If you have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to comment down below. Thank you. Bye.